What you thought of Alshay's performance tonight?
Yeah, I thought that the judges blew that one. I thought I had it 3-2 the other way. I don't know how you guys scored it, but you know, I guess it's all in how you score that first round.
Yeah, I had it 3-2 for Alshay, but that first round was so close. So I guess with that in mind, I mean, you got Peter Yan in there saying, let's just do this again. You got Alshay saying, I want TJ Dillashaw, who was here all week. I mean, with a fight that close that you think went the other way, do you book it again and do a third fight between them?
I think you do. You know, listen, that fight's going to be there. Peter Yan is one of the baddest dudes in that division, so you probably do the TJ fight.
And then I'll ask you about the fight of the night, obviously, with Khamzat Chimaev and Gilbert Burns. I mean, gosh, it lived up to everything and more. I guess just talk about that. I mean, the energy was electric. It was insane. I guess, what did you take out of that fight?
Yeah, it's one of the best fights I've ever seen. It's one of the coolest fights I've ever been to. Like you said, the place was so loud. People were going crazy. I mean, that fight was eclipsing the main event all week. And I was talking to Rogan and Sean and Nick and everybody else. Think about this. When's the last time you saw a guy come out of nowhere, right? Nobody knows who he is, comes out of nowhere, then fights a couple fights and then fights the number 2 ranked guy in the world and wins. You know, when you get into the top 5 in the UFC, no joke, man. And especially in that division. In that division is straight killers. You know, tonight was a big test for him, and he passed it. I mean, think about this too. He's never had that big moment where coming into this week, you know, how many fights this guy got in the UFC? He's got a couple fights. The buzz for him is bigger than the main event, co-main event. Everybody's talking about him. Crowd's going crazy, like we're in his hometown or some shit. And then you come out and you fight a guy like Gilbert Burns, who I'm sure completely felt disrespected going into this fight and wanted to make a point himself. So, Teddy Atlas tweeted tonight, which I loved. At the end of the second round, Teddy Atlas said, "We know what Khamzat Chimaev has on the outside when it comes to talent. We're about to find out what he's got on the inside now." And now we're going into the third round. Nobody could have said it better.
Well, I was gonna say, like, what's your biggest takeaway, right? Because I see like there's 2 paths. Either one, like you said, he just fought a real dude and gutted out a decision win. We found out he's got heart, and there's other people that are saying, see, he can't run through everybody. You know, he's not as good as we thought he was.
Well, he's human. I mean, any asshole that said that doesn't think the kid's human. He's a human being, and he just beat the number 2 welterweight in the world in the UFC with a couple of fights in the UFC. If you don't think he's the real deal, you're out of your mind. Yeah, he's human, you know, and funny, you know, Till keeps telling me, you know, this guy never gets tired. This guy never ever runs out of energy. He never. But you can't train in the gym for what happened tonight. You can't. I'm sure this week, leading up to this week, you know, he's had a ton of pressure on him. A lot of anxiety, probably, who knows how well he slept last night. You know, all the things that go into the buzz and energy. And then I'm sure there was a huge adrenaline dump after that first round. So this is shit you can't train for. And you either make it through it or you don't. He made it through with flying colors.
The last thing for me, I'll just ask you said coming in, you thought Covington would be the right matchup for him moving forward. Now that you've seen him tonight, you still feel like that's the right fight to make?
Well, that's the other thing. All these other guys who didn't want to fight him before, I'm sure, are looking at him differently now too. But that's what happens when you break into the top 5 in the world in any of these weight classes. You are going in against the absolute best in the world. Gilbert Burns is number 2. He almost knocked Usman out, who is the pound for pound best fighter in the world. So, you know, for people that are saying whatever, A, you probably don't know jack shit about fighting, and B, you have to put it all in perspective.
You mentioned that you would like to do Khamzat and Colby on ABC if you could sort of get them to book on that fight. For people who don't know, how massive could that fight be? Those 2 big names on ABC. What sort of numbers do you think you can put on that?
I don't know, but it's big. I mean, you saw it tonight. We're in Jacksonville, Florida. You know, with a Russian and a Brazilian headline. You know, not headline, but you know, the biggest fight of the night. Everybody's going crazy. So. Yeah, I think it's a big fight.
Do you think in a way it's almost better for Khamzat to have a fight like this, right? Instead of coming out and just knocking Gilbert out in like 15 seconds, we got to see what he has in him, what his skills are, holes in his game?
I don't think it's better. It's inevitable. I mean, nobody rolls through anybody when you're at this level. It's that you just don't go out. You know, not to say that somebody couldn't catch somebody or and things like that. Those things happen, but you heard Gilbert. Gilbert said I was prepared to die tonight. I wasn't going to come in here and roll over.
Some of the shots that Khamzat took as well, we put out most other welterweights too, right?
100%. He took some big shots tonight, and he looked good, man. This kid, how many times does he fight? And well, 4 times in what? Last, 4 times in how many years? 2 years? He's fought 4 times in 2 years in the UFC, you know what I mean? And most of them without a crowd. Tonight was his first, I thought that was one of the greatest fights I've ever seen. And to be a part of, to be here in the arena. I don't know how it came off on TV, but holy shit, it was awesome in here.
With a performance like that,